It's just 15 people, Lindsay said, swirling her wine like the conversation was already resolved. She didn't look at me, only at the catering brochure she'd annotated with neon highlights and tidy X's. And of course you'll host. The words fell like crumbs on a freshly swept floor. Expected, thoughtless, familiar. I didn't respond, not when she slid the menu across the table with prices circled, not when she reminded me of her mother's nut allergy as if that too would be mine to manage, not even when she added, "Ben's nieces hate hotels, so we'll need the guest rooms." I set my water on its coaster and smiled. "Perfect," I said evenly. "I'm going on a trip. You can handle it." She froze, fingers curved at the stem, her mouth parted like I'd mispronounced a word in a language she believed she owned. "I'm sorry, what?" "I'll be gone December 22nd through New Year's Day," I said, "so you and your 15 guests can do what you like." Silence gathered thick, stunned, not angry. I stood, collected the side plates, and carried them to the sink. Lindsay didn't offer to help. She never did. But for once, she didn't speak. I rinsed the dishes, dried my hands on the kitchen towel I kept mostly for show, and felt something new click into place. It wasn't defiance, it was truth, and I meant it. I used to love Christmas. Back when Lindsay would call 2 weeks ahead, careful and soft. "Grace, would it be all right if we brought dessert? Maybe stayed a night?" Back when my son Ben would grumble and still carry in the suitcases, kiss my cheek and say, "Smells like Christmas, Mom," before poking at the fireplace and wrestling the little ones on the living room rug. Those holidays weren't perfect, but they were shared, earned. Then something shifted. Invitations turned into expectations. "Would you mind?" became, "You'll need to." The help evaporated, the guest list doubled. Compliments stayed public, the labor stayed mine. Last year, I roasted 2 meats, prepped 6 sides, baked 3 desserts. I babysat while they grabbed a few last things, returning with specialty candles and a new board game. They drank spiced cider while I scrubbed. Then they posted a glossy photo, matching flannel, captioned "Family Time at Mom's." I took the picture. I was the scenery. This year, the group text landed in mid-November, 15 for Christmas. "Thanks in advance, Grace. You're the best." No question mark. No pause to ask if I was tired or willing. Tradition had swallowed the effort and burped out entitlement. I muted the thread and opened a browser tab. Flights, cabins, car rentals. I didn't have a destination yet, only a decision. I can count, too. Not in spreadsheets like Lindsay, but in memory. 4,800 when their HVAC died last spring. 1,200 slipped into Ben's pocket when Lindsay launched her cupcake business. Dozens of hours with teething toddlers so they could recharge. No ledger, no IOUs, just me, quietly plugging the leaks. What clarified everything wasn't a fight. It was a neat little sentence. "Don't go overboard this year," Lindsay said. "Our budget's tight." As if I hadn't covered the turkey and the pies for years. The word didn't bruise me. It lit the room. They wanted my house, my table, my warmth, but not me. Not my no. Not my rest. That night I booked a cabin outside Flagstaff. December 22nd, January 1st. 1 chair, 1 bed, a porch, and a sky. I printed their text and tucked it into a plain white card. On the back, in steady pen, I wrote, "This home will be unoccupied from December 22nd to January 1st. Wishing you warmth wherever you gather. Grace." I taped it to the mailbox at the curb high enough for Lindsay to spot, low enough that Ben would have to bend to read. I locked the doors, set the thermostat to away, and took one unhurried lap through the house. Not nostalgic, just clear. No garland, no extra linens, no folding chairs. The dining table was bare, the oven cool. I slid my suitcase into the trunk, turned off the porch light, cracked the car window, and drove past blow-up Santas and blinking reindeer toward air that didn't smell like obligation. They didn't believe me until they pulled up. Porch light off, gate locked. Ben called first. "Mom, where are you? Are you okay?" Then Lindsay. "Gate's locked. We're here with food and kids. Did you forget?" When I didn't answer, the messages sharpened. "This isn't funny, you're making a scene. Selfish." After 30 years of yes, my first no read like a crime. I set the phone face down in the nightstand drawer. Outside, pines lifted into a sunset like heat made visible. A hawk traced the ridgeline. The cabin heater clicked. The world didn't require a speech. It let me be. On Christmas afternoon, Leah Parker, my neighbor who notices everything, called. "They're over at Lindsay's brother's," she said, voice softened with careful kindness. "Looks crowded." I pictured the narrow kitchen, the air mattress whispering itself flat by midnight. Lindsay's turkey bronzed on the outside and January Lake raw at the center. Sliced thin, called rustic, missing ice, unused takeout, frayed tempers disguised as cheer. And stories told about me overwhelmed, sick, needing rest, anything but the simple truth. I'd chosen not to host. I didn't correct them. Truth doesn't need a campaign. I ate a cinnamon roll at a diner with a view of Red Rock and Hawk Shadow, then walked back with a gas station blanket that smelled like pine and childhood. When Ben texted, "You really left us hanging. That's not like you," I let the sun warm my hands instead of the old guilt. January arrived like clean paper. I cleared the garage one box at a time. I kept the wooden angel Ben carved in second grade. The extra tables and decor went to the church rummage. No posts, no disclaimers, just space. Weeks passed. Lindsay posted a photo in their newly painted kitchen, arms crossed, caption, "This year taught me not to rely on anyone." I smiled because I'd learned the same thing without the bitterness. I joined a Saturday hiking group that talked about socks and switchbacks instead of casseroles. In September, I booked another cabin, this one by a lake. I circled the dates in red, mine. Early November, Ben texted, "You're still coming for Christmas, right?" Not really a question. I typed, "No, but I hope it goes well." No flourish, no apology. 2 days later, Lindsay showed up on my porch. No brochure, no eyeliner, just a coat pulled tight and a face I recognized from the early years when she still asked. "Can we talk?" she said. We sat at my kitchen table. She studied her hands. "Last year was a disaster," she said finally. "I blamed you. I told people you left us to scramble." She looked up, eyes bright but unarmored. "I'm sorry, Grace. We didn't see it. We didn't see you." Old habits tried to gallop in minimize, soothe, tell her it was fine. I let the quiet stand like a tall chair between us. "Thank you," I said. "I'm not angry. I'm done hosting by default, that's all." She nodded. "Ben and I want to do it right. We'll host at our place. For real. We'll plan, shop, cook. If you come, you're a guest. If you don't, we'll understand." She swallowed. "Could we practice first? A Sunday dinner, small. You tell us what being a guest looks like." Her sentence was clumsy and true. "A guest brings nothing but appetite," I said. "A host makes room for a no." She half laughed, half exhaled. "Okay, a host makes room for a no." 2 Sundays later, Lindsay's kitchen smelled like cinnamon and effort. Ben met me at the curb with an umbrella I didn't need and an apology he didn't perform. The kids took my coat and hung it like it mattered. No 12-dish spread, just stew in a heavy pot and warm bakery bread. We ate at a table that fit the room and the day. At one point, Lindsay reached for my bowl old reflex, and I covered her hand with mine. "I've got it," I said. She let go. She smiled. No speeches, just small proof. Ben did the dishes without theater. Lindsay asked, "Do you want to stay longer or head home? Either is okay." When I left, they walked me to the door without pressing leftovers into my hands like homework. On Christmas Eve, I was at the lake cabin I'd booked months earlier, keeping a promise to myself. I brewed coffee and read a library novel with penciled notes from a stranger. Outside, snow stitched the shoreline into a neat white hem. My phone buzzed once. A photo from Ben. The 4 of them around their table stew again, bread again, no hashtags, no performance. A line just for me. "We used real spoons and did the dishes. Thanks for the recipe. We're okay, love you." I looked at it for a long time, not for proof, but to feel the weight of change. I set the phone down and stepped onto the porch with my blanket. The lake held its breath. Somewhere across the cove, a dog barked and stopped. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like space air finding a room it used to avoid. We didn't become new people overnight. Boundaries aren't fences that keep love out. They're paths that show it how to reach you. Maybe next year I'll drive over for an afternoon walk, soup, chores shared, because love isn't measured by one person's exhaustion. If we gather, it will be because we choose to, not because tradition demands a tax I alone must pay. I lifted my mug and watched the steam vanish into the cold. Somewhere at a table that wasn't mine, the family I love was learning to love me back in the long way, by listening. And for the first time in years, the season felt like a beginning,